surprise, surprise, it's lit. Lit Logic. Not so sure how much Logic I'm about to distribute at this time, but because there's some mystery still going on. A whole lot of mystery. But I want to say this. I'm thankful. I really am. I thank you. I thank you. And I thank you. And I thank you especially. God above and all the supporting love team that comes in all forms. And I want to thank my support. That's not just in the invisible realm. I've been given a whole lot of credit, and they are definitely deserving of that. But I want to give a little bit of my personal love and shout out to those on them in the physical realm. My men and women who some of them, I don't even know them, but have somehow over the course of time come to the truth and the reality and become my supporters. Man, and I've actually felt this in recent weeks and months as some of the that darkness that seemed like most of the, a lot of people, I was getting a lot of dark energy coming at me, and now I still get a little bit. And I think I'm starting to get a little bit more of, you know what I mean? Nobody's standing up for me yet. Well, I'm not saying I need a standing ovation or nothing, but I'm just saying. But I do thank you. I really do. I thank you guys, men and women, who are, at least now, on my team, and especially those who were always on my side, who always were pulling for me. And I know, man, and when we celebrate, we are going to celebrate, and you're all invited. I'll tell you what, not just about my liberation, because my liberation is the liberation. We are being liberated from a dark entity, man, we're putting them dirties in their place. We got to, right where they belong. They make cages for rats. They make, you know what I mean? Man, trying to turn me into a laboratory experiment, a social experiment. How do I look now, Buddha? How am I doing so far, Buddha? I think Buddha's, you know what I mean? Boot up, Buddha, Buddha, boot up. I'm all booted up. I'm boot up. What are you, boot up? Are you boot up? No, yeah. Let's get boot up. Hey, no, for real. Big community hug. Big world love hug. For those who still know love, who subscribe to love on a daily basis. Not that you only love your children. It's easy to love your little baby boy and baby girl and your niece and nephew. It's easy to love them. How about loving the people that maybe are not necessarily in your bloodlines and that kind of thing, man? Loving the strangers, loving the people just because you fucking know love, man. You have love because you are love. You fucking identify with love because love is all through you, man. You cycle love with it, man. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, man. This realm was not made for everything to be beautiful. When we escape these bodies, and we will pretty soon, because this life might seem like it only lasts so long, and time does fly, as they say. So when we escape, man, if you gave of most of retain your connectivity to spirit and love and God, and distributed it, allowed the cycle of love to come through your physical being, man, the reward is you probably don't got to come back and jump another body and come do it again and learn again and again. And perhaps each time bringing back with you more unpaid debt, karmic debt. Now you got to come back and embody this. Not so, let's just say it might have some compromise physically, socially, or, geographically, those things, man. Your challenge chart might have just blowed up big time. You're going to be doing 82 years in a broken vessel in a very difficult part of the world, man. Not this, I'm just saying. I don't know how it goes, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. And those of us who somehow, repair our karmic debt, move to reverse the curses of our past lives and maybe even generational curses and things of that nature, that your bloodlines, your ancestors are fucking counting on you, man, to be that fucking dude, to be that woman that says, not on my watch. Not on fucking my watch. I get it now. I get it. I was losing, but today I'm not fucking losing. I fucking get it. So guess what? Go ahead, bring it, because I'm fucking walking through, not just for me, because I feel the love around me. I got the support. I feel it. I know it. I'm not alone. You know, I'm going to walk through this one fucking day at a time, one tear at a time, you know, one lonely night at a time, one wound at a time, one scar at a time. I'm going to wake up tomorrow, man, and still have a fucking ray of light in me. A fucking, you know, some days when you don't have that, just, if you can, man, put your head back on the pillow, man, and sleep all freaking day if you have to, man. You know, maybe the next time you wake up, eat a bowl of Wheaties or something, and then you're like, man, I feel like I might want to go to fucking Walmart and get a fucking toothbrush. You know, you go out there and just get a little sunshine. You know, it's a new day. You still got to come home alone. You still ain't getting no love. Nobody calling you up. Nobody in your side, in your corner. You know, you know, as the people that you were supposed to be loving, you, are out there chasing nothing. You know, and you know it. But I'm not good. I'm not part of that game no more. I'm going to sit in here and do my shadow work, man. I want to get to know myself. I want to get to understand the depths of my existence, you know, even the dark sides, you know, especially those, because I'm not going to leave them stay there. I'm going to fucking dominate them. I will no longer live in fear, and you don't have to live in fear no more, too. We are here to dominate those fucking aspects of our fucking existence. The fucking lie of the fucking evil enemy. Man, because guess what? We have the fucking light of the Lord himself. Christ Jesus, fucking the Messiah, Yahweh, fucking the Holy Spirit, all one, coming through me and fucking all about it. You know? I'm not saying even knowing this, it's not always fucking, you know, a walk in the park. It's not always that easy. But guess what? As you start to, you know, navigate through this the landscape of fucking unlove and fucking retaining your fucking, you know, you're not letting go. I'm not letting go of the rope, man. I'm not letting go of the rope. I don't care how many of you people stand there and fucking try to knock me off like I'm some fucking part of the amusement ride or something that's fucking on the boardwalk. You know, so when that fucking, I'm not that fucking dude. Because guess what? One of these days, I'm going to put my fucking head up that hole and your hands ain't going to be able to fucking lift that fucking mallet again. Because fucking God Almighty fucking broke your fucking hand and the fucking mallet just the rubber part fell off. Nothing there but a fucking piece of splinter stuck in your fucking hand. I don't know how it's going to work. It's just an analogy there, you know. But I'm saying, man, you know, as you persevere because you're not giving up hope. I don't care. It took me, I'm talking, at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years, possibly a decade now, of almost absolute. I've had some love within there, you know. A lot of it was deceptive, you know, and probably even some of it from my own lies. But the things that I've retained that are part of the fucking yesterday's fucking lie that I thought was my truth. Some of it, man, is necessary to you know, survival instincts is part of our fucking, you know, what do they call that? I forget what the whole thing is, you know, it's part of our primal instincts, man, just like, you know, just try to stay safe, just try to, as part of the norm. But you know what? Otherwise, man, it's a learned behavior, and we have the right, we have the ability to change our fucking minds. We don't got to wake up every day with the continuation of yesterday's fucking system. That's how it works, basically. You know, that's what they call indoctrination. You're exposed to certain forms of information, a database, you know, a social database and a physical and an emotional and a structural and government, govern your mind, your mentality, govern that shit. It's sort of the data that's being fed to you for a specific outcome. They know what the results for the most part will be. And sometimes, you know, individuals start to, you know, based on their skill set or lack thereof, start to fall into different, you know, categories and, you know, fall into your own, let's say, you know, carbon fingerprint or social algorithms, if you will. You know, and hey, sometimes if you start to get start to excel in a certain area, you know, then information will be basically brought into you from external sources, and you'll be manipulated basically to try to draw you back in, because this is a danger zone to them, man. Nobody gets to, you know, only the select few get to roll out on these fucking roads of knowledge, man, and wisdom and ascension and love. You know what, though? The one thing, I'll tell you what, the main ingredient to anybody's growth and progress, the main ingredient is love. And if you can, like, never really lose, I know despair is a reality, man. I know depression is real. I'm fucking living proof. I've experienced it all. Man, I'm an emotional dude. Look at me, the way I'm talking. Blah, 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 blah. Come on, man. I mean, I'm not like, I do lay down sometimes. I do get sad. I do get hype. I do got some emotional range, you know. I got some range to my personality. But I'll tell you what, I've learned in my 27 and a half years on the planet, but that basically, like, when you get really down, like I used to really, I mean, years ago, I used to think about killing myself. I really did. And, you know, and I know it's a dangerous topic, and I don't mean to make light of it or even to pretend that I'm not going to stay here, but I mean, just let you know the extreme nature. And I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, at one point in time have at least thought about it. You know, if not, you know, it's something maybe you will. And I'm here to hope that to try to avoid that thought from crossing your mind, because I'm going to tell you through my experience, you know, what I do, and I found that no matter how bad things seem, and that, and you know, one example I give, I remember years ago, and I was in the throes of addiction, and I was like really in a bad spot, man. And this is going back about 25 years or so. And I remember, like, I think it's probably the closest I came to killing myself, you know, and I don't remember if I even had a firearm. I don't think I even did. I don't even know how I was going to do it back then, but I would have figured it out, I guess, you know. But you know, that was the closest I believe I came, you know. And I remember, like, I might have been, I'm not going to say the next day, but I think it was 1 week to the day. I was playing in a band, and we had a rehearsal room in South Philly, and I showed up, and I remember, I think it was a Tuesday, and we usually took Monday off, because we usually played Friday or Saturday night somewhere, and we took Sunday and Monday off for the most part. I believe we got back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that kind of thing, rehearsed. And I remember, like, showing up, and the guys and it was a room, you know, maybe like 20 by 20, and you know, and we're like sitting there, and just the festive love and the camaraderie and the levels of humor, thanks to people like Graham Killian, you know, and you know, and all the guys were great, man. Nick Fiscatelli, he's fucking phenomenal. My brother Chris, you know, Sean McWilliams, or Pony Boy Yates, you know, some of the guys that we had in our circle, we were blessed. And man, just the levity and the humor and the fucking camaraderie, like I said, and the you know, it was pretty fucking cool dynamic. And I, you know, they knew I was an addict, and they knew I was struggling, and I had a job. I was what they call a functional addict, you know. And but anyway, you know, like they, you know, they would just admit. I remember, like, sitting behind my drums, and like I think Graham was, you know, ringleader. Go figure, you know. But I forget the exchange. But it was so, like, beyond funny and, like, engaging that I was, like, literally, like, my stomach was hurting from laughing, and I was so, like, opened up. I was so reopened back up to life again. And I literally, like, these guys didn't know that, because they didn't really have that. They had up and downs, but there's downs that go as far down as mine, I don't think, you know. And not as often as I did. I frequently did this, you know. They might have, you know, the death of a family member or something that really don't go down, but, you know, for the most part, people have a normal life. They stay in a certain scale. And, you know, addicts, man, they nosedive, you know, and that's kind of what was going on. And, you know, and I remember saying to myself, like, I was recovering from this, like, moment of joy, and, like, almost like, man, like, I was alive, man. And it was brief, you know, and then we got to play music, and I love that as well. So I was truly blessed, even in my addiction, even though my dark times. But you know, but I like, after, like, they start turning around and putting their gear together, we're going to start, okay, we laughed long enough, now let's just get to business. And they're starting to adjust their gear, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, dude, like, it's just last week, a week to the day, man, I really almost killed myself. I really wanted to die. And, like, look, 1 week later, I'm like, I was in an absolute jubilation. And that was, like I said, probably 30 years ago. And, well, I'm from 27 and a half, that's impossible. Let me redo that math. Anyway, we'll work out the numbers later. But it was a while ago. And that was sort of the part, I think the one, at least for me, to reference the concept of, I used to always say, never sell out, man. for like, you know, on an emotion, like, you know, road rage, and you're going to get like, you know, I'm just going to go kill that dude. I got a permit to carry. I'm just going to off that fucking dude. I'm done. Man, don't do it. Don't do it. Calm down, bro. You know, maybe, you know, in another circumstance, you and that fucking dude would be like helping somebody carry something, or like, you know what I mean? Like, and yo, man, thanks for your help. Hey, thank you, man. Hey, good meeting you. Boom, you know? Now I'm going to kill you? Man, because you scratched my car by accident? Or, you know, you flipped off my girlfriend? Or whatever, man. You know, whatever, man. You know. But, you know, so I realized that this, back to the, you know, that like, if you just hang in there, man, go through it. You're meant to go through this part of life, these trials, man. You were made for it. It was made for you. It was part of your, you know, I know some of the choices we make, I could have chose not to do some of the things I did, would have made my life a little bit more manageable at times, but then I wouldn't be who I am today. You know, and I'm not saying I don't have any regrets. I do. I have many things I wish I would have done a little bit more. I would have been more like honorable, a little bit more like respected myself more. You know what I mean? I disrespected my everything every time I sold myself out. For what? Because I couldn't handle the range of my emotions. So I would self-medicate so to the point where it was dismal, you know, and the recovery and the process was, but you know, back to but that's who I am today. Like I'm grateful for all of it. I'm not saying I wouldn't redo things, do things different. I would, but I can't. So I accept that, man. And I'm proud of who I am today as a result of whatever I did. Because even in the midst of those dark moments and my moments of, you know, dissension, I was still holding on to that fucking gold ticket. You know, that love, that connection to God's source, to the divine, to the protection that I probably had angels all around me as I was in these dark places with some desperate people that were not necessarily as fortunate as I was, you know, and I would put myself in dangerous situations and I was exposed to it. And I was still protected, and I still am today under different circumstances. But bottom line is, man, I didn't give it away. I remember, like, you know, I clicked, so like maybe the next time I really thought about offering myself or like giving up, or even if I didn't want to kill myself, just giving up on something. I knew that the cycle of life is going to have these, you know, the peaks and valleys, and you're not going to have to, you don't have to stay. That's the beauty of life. You don't get to stay in anything, man. It's part of your test. It's part of your challenge. You will be offered an opportunity to like come back up and experience, even though it seems like the euphoria might be at a smaller ratio than some of the, you know, the heaviness of life. Perhaps, but we're going to try. That's why you try to work out a balance. And once you start to get a balance, and that balance only comes from, you know, honoring like the life laws, like, you know, self, God, your friends. That, you know, they say the golden rule, the golden rule is to treat others as you would like to be treated. It's pretty simple. And I mean, honestly, I mean, really, I mean, but it's so overlooked. And it's so like, I know we live in a fast world, one that has a lot of pressure, a lot of demands, a lot of opposition, a lot of resistance, a lot of competition, a lot of everything that's really by design is not here to support you. But there are. That's why you got to say, step back, take a deep breath, like count to 10, whatever, man. Or let them have it. Black Friday, last fucking TV, and there's 6 people that want it. Let them have it. That lady's, that was mine. I was like, okay, baby, it's yours. You know, you got to learn to be the one to let go. Let go. It's okay, man. It's okay. Sacrifice, you know. Make a sacrifice sometimes. That sacrifice, and it doesn't mean you're a chump, because you could have probably knocked that bitch out of that. Man, means you have a little bit of integrity, you have honor, you're serving something, man. You give it away. It'll come back to you. When you give and you make a sacrifice, however big or small, it'll come back to you. It will. It might not come back, you know, like instant karma. It's not like, hey, man, I gave up. So I get it. When I leave, walk out that door, fucking sun's going to be shining on me. They watching everything, bro. Everything. You think they're those things up in the sky now that are the little fake stars? You know, I know. Come on, whether they're there for, they're there because we live in 2023. That's why they're there. You know, and we don't really know. Nobody's talking about them. People are, oh, it's okay. It's only this. It's only that. Whatever it is, it is. But you know, and hey, technology is what it is, and they can hover things up there, make it look like, you know, and watch everything you do. And you know, if they want to know what you're eating, man, they're going to watch you what you're eating. I don't care how many walls you put up between you and them. You know, the technology that they have is at least 15, 20 years ahead of anything we'll ever. We'll buy a Radio Shack. There's no number Radio Shack. You know, we'll be buying in fucking some electronics store 20 years from now what they're utilizing today. And what we'll think is the new greatest fucking thing. Oh, my God. You know, look at this. Look what I can do now. I can, like, you know, they were doing that a fucking decade and a half ago, you know. You know, the police agencies and the military, shit like that. Either way, that's just the process of, you know, the way things go. But as far as just you think about the highest level of sophistication from satellites and some of the abilities they have to, like, you know, I'm talking, you know, whether it's just for spying or for, man, the eyes of God. I mean, the eyes of God and the Spirit. Oh my God! I mean, they those things are like romper room to the eyes of God. The eyes of God see everything. Everything is, I mean, down to the thread of is documented into the books of knowledge in life, and it's just the way it is. You know, nothing you've ever done went unseen. Nothing. Even when you were by yourself in that little box, they saw it. And it's okay. And they know where you were. They know where you were in your mind, your reality that made you hide in that box and do that. You know? So it all gets taken into account. Just don't give away your heart. Don't give away your love. My point is, man, you know, that we are surrounded and guided by a love force that far outweighs this dark energy that threatens to fucking take your life. You know, as Jesus said, you know, don't worry about what man can do to you. It's that all they can do is kill you. That's like they can give you your first death. This one, nobody here gets out alive anyway, right? This body's not fucking, you know, no one gets to retain their body. So we're all going to die, basically. And Jesus said it's the second death you got to worry about. And that's the one when Judgment Day comes and you're standing before the throne of God himself and he's looking at your mortal soul and he's saying, how do you think you did, my son, my daughter? How do you think you did? And you up there shaking and trembling and he knows everything. But the good news is that God, I know the condemnation and all those things that we, for the most part, rightfully deserve for our disobedience and our defiance and our unlove. But I'll tell you what, he sees the love in us. That is, man, I mean, really, when they say he's a loving God, he really is a loving God. He's your friend, man. I don't care what you're doing right now. God is your friend. He loves you. He's trying to pull you out of whatever it is. And believe me, that the angel warriors, man, they're down here to see it, make it so. Now, we can choose our way out of their protection and out of their attempts to, like, realign us with our path. We can continue to defy and continue to move away. So much so, there's certain parts of our existence that the angels of love, they're not even allowed to go into. There's certain areas of darkness they're basically not permitted because of their light. They can't go. As well as there's certain parts of our light when we get on the path of righteousness and light that the demons can't come in. You literally are in a channel of light through your alignment with God's truth and love that the demons can no longer touch you. They can't get you. And they know it because they tried. They tried before you built that light up. They tried. They knew you were attacked. They knew you were moving into that light. And man, they did everything they could before you got there. And when you get there, Buddha. Buddha. Did I say Buddha? Buddha. Oh, yes, I did. And then you're there. And I'm not saying you can't choose tomorrow to become a complete fucking asshole and jump back out of your light and go back and submit to some darkness, because maybe you're going to go, you know, still got some weakness in you. You're going to go try to rescue somebody in a fucking dark place and kind of like the way they made you feel for a little bit, and you decide to stay. Guess what, Buddha? They got you again. I'm saying, man, most people that come in their light, man, they are, in most places, people that find their love and they find their truth, and they, you know, they are, say, reborn, or they, you know, ascended, or they sort of graduated, if you will, from the, you know, their vibration, they operate and live on a higher vibration level. You know, for the most part, they have created a path of life that's quite visible to those who have not had the opportunity or the willingness to pursue that yet. And I always say, man, if you want to come see me, I'll be right up here. I'm not going to keep going back to see if you're ready to come up. And I'm going to stay down there. You know, it was my turn to walk in the light. And that's not, I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm not saying I don't love you. And I'm not saying I wish you were in front of me. Because I fucking wish you were in front of me, man. I wish I was following your love. But I'm not going to stay in your fucking darkness. I'm not. If I got to walk in this light alone, I'll walk in this light alone. Because I know where I'm going. And it feels a lot better than that fucking dirt. It just does. Listen, man, I'm going to let this go right now. Keep this one short. I love you. I really do. I love all of you. This is Lit Logic, LITTLOGIK, because I see what somebody else stole that C. I guess so. I think they did. So they beat me to it or something like that. I forget. I'm not real good with that kind of electronic shit. So maybe I just misspelled it and I'm just going to stay with it. Anyway, I love you. I really do. I want you all to come to that place of love. Don't give up your ticket, the gold ticket, your return ticket to God. We're coming back home. We're going home. But before we get to go, we're going to bring heaven down here. We are going to live like kings in this body, all banged up, looking like we know. I love you. I love me. I love God Almighty. Jesus, Yahweh, Holy Spirit, a la Buddha.